a stat called damage reduction. When you're knocking an enemy down onto the ground, you pretty much reduce your overall damage. In the early game, specifically like Ruben, you're not going to notice this because there is no damage reduction on the enemies. As soon as you hit Elder, your damage actually starts being lowered as you knock the enemies down. So, as you can see, my damage is like a lot lower there, but if I were to do this normally, you can see that it's much higher. Now, obviously, you can't just do, say, a basic Z combo, because that does this. You can't do a basic X combo, because that does this. So, what you need to do is learn how to do a combo loop. Now, some combo loops are pretty much something like Z, 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 back, back, forward, Z, Z, Z. So, like so. Now, of course, that isn't like the only one. You can like do alternates, or you can like do like a launcher and catch them like that. Exactly like how Mama Donnie put it. Now, for other characters, you got Z, 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 dash forward, jump, Z. Now, in this case for Aisha, it's not exactly that good because it's, well, kind of dumb. Because it knocks up. For other characters like Raven and Elsword and even Elysis and Chung, you can use that too. Now, I say this is a basic loop because that's really all it is. It's just a basic, simple loop. There are, of course, better combo loops that you're going to want to learn for, say, PvP. Now, someone actually mentioned a thing called mana breaking. Let me actually switch back to my Night Watcher. I'll jump into PvP again. So, what mana breaking is... You know what? I actually didn't need to jump on her. Let's see... Oh, wait, what? I went the wrong way. Didn't I say I was going to my Night Watcher for PvP? To show off the mana break, but even though I didn't really need to. So, okay, mana break. So, similar to GC, you can actually charge your MP by holding down Z, or you can even hold down X. But, obviously, if you let go, nothing happens. Because skills are activated by ASDFC, QWER. But if I were to get hit, as you can see, I lost my MP. Now, the amount of MP you lose is, of course, dependent on how much it's charging. Now, you're going to want to learn how to mana break, because this will help you out in terms of surviving in PvP. So now, we're going to do a bit more of an actual PvP match. So, this is pretty much my equipment, and these are my stats. Now, these aren't really the most amazing stats. I'm just going to say this right now. And I am also not that very good. I am not forgetting Delay Fire. You can only boost up one character to, like, level 70. That is also true. I think they actually fixed that, though. So, as you can see, I'm getting my butt kicked. Okay, unfortunately, they dropped the combo. They were a bit too slow. Okay. Oh yeah, that's another thing I need to talk about, and that's knockdowns. Okay, let me actually pay attention. Okay. I messed up. Or did I? Haha! And I did it. Unfortunately, I didn't really do much in terms of mana breaking. But, yeah. When you get hit, you gain MP. When you hit an enemy, you gain MP. That's pretty much easy. To boost a character, you need to have a character that's level 10 or lower, and then head into a town. A pop-up will appear asking if you want to boost that character. Just select what you do, and it'll ask you what job you want. Demon Gate, Gate of Darkness. This is a special normalized dungeon that appears sometimes at the end of dungeons from Fader onwards. Doing it will give you two boxes that have a chance of giving you some pretty decent accessories, of which I don't have any on here, or elixirs that you can pretty much use in dungeons. It doesn't use any stamina as well, and you do gain a decent amount of experience. If you're say grinding during the weekdays when you are consuming stamina, I suggest that you do it just because it's, well, for one, no stamina consumed. It is known as Gates of Darkness, GOD for short, as Mama Dottie said. What else is there? Elements. I should probably explain elements. So, there are 6 elements in this game, with 7 different shards. The mystery shard, though, it could be any element if you, depending on these things. If you use one of these things, I'll actually show it off right now, and you take an L mystery shard, you solve it, you can gain a random element. Yes, weekends have unlimited stamina. When you go to an alchemist and you click on attributes, select the piece of equipment that you want to add an attribute to. Now, depending on what element that you put on, will determine on what effect you get. Now, you can stack 2 different elements, but you can only stack 2 of a specific kind. So, fire, water, and nature are known as stacking elements, while wind, light, and darkness are known as instant elements, or at least that's how I refer to them as. So, when I say stacking elements, these can be stacked up to 3 times. You can see on my bow, I have a burning 3. A 10% chance to add burning effect when the enemy is hit. The burning effect can stack up to level 3. Level 1 deals 8,645.4 damage per second for 10 seconds. If I were to get a second stack, it would be increased to 12,968.1 damage per second. And then if I get a third stack, 17,290.8. Now, fire is a pure damage element. Water is defense and movement speed reduction. For PvE, you'll want either water or darkness. I'm just going to say that right now. For PvP, you can go with just about anything. Some people run water, some people run poison, some people run wind, some people even run darkness. There are even some crazy people that run light, and they make it work. I'll kind of go into that. Nature. Nature is pretty much like poison, except it's lesser damage, but it lowers your attack speed as well. And it's quite a good element if you manage to inflict the enemy with it. Wind has a chance of when it activates, reduces the knockdown counter, which I need to also explain, as well as having the amount of damage that you deal pierce a % of the enemy's defense, I believe. Does it actually say? No, it doesn't. Light inflicts petrify. Pretty much when you get petrified, you're in stone for a certain amount of time. The amount of time is determined based off of your resistance. which I also need to get into. Darn it. Keep forgetting things. And darkness is pretty much... Oh, my cat just woke up. Darkness, when it activates, you gain HP and you gain MP. I'm just going to say this now. In PvP, a lot of people tend to resist it because of the MP gain. Not so much the healing. The healing's okay, but it's the MP gain that's really good on that. As I said before, PvE, dark and water are usually your two elements to go to. Wind is okay. Some people, I think, run petrified just because they have like multi-attacks that can actually consistently inflict it. For PvP, just about any element is good. As you can see, you can stack up to 3 elements on a piece of on a weapon. The actual cost of the shards is determined based on the level of the equipment and the grade of the equipment. I believe the grade of the equipment also determines how many you can actually add onto a weapon. Now, if I wanted to say have water, like 2 stacks of water and 1 stack of darkness, I could have that. If I wanted 2 stacks of fire and 1 stack of poison, I cannot. Again, you can only have 1 stack of each type. So you can only have 1 stack of an instant, or 1 stack of a stack. Well, that's weird. Okay, let me try to rephrase that. Okay, I can't think of it right now. Oh, I gotta close that, that's why. Okay, as you can see down here, these are your resistances. They stack up until, they cap out at 500. Depending on... Can you do wind and light? No, you cannot. In the past, light actually used to give a 10% defense increase to bosses, or not bosses, to anyone inflicted with it, but they removed that to make it more useful because no one really got it. But yeah, you can't stack wind and light. You can stack fire and wind, you can stack fire and darkness, you can stack fire and light, you can stack water and wind, water dark, water light, but you can't stack fire water, fire poison, water poison, wind dark, etc. But yeah, for element resistances, they resist the chance of it activating, and if it does activate, it actually reduces the effect of it. Like, if I were to have, like, I have 135 fire resistance. If fire were to be inflicted on me, it's actually possible for me to not be affected for the full 10 seconds, but say 5 seconds. I don't exactly know the numbers, I will say that, but yeah, I think you get my point. In the case of like light, if I'm petrified, I don't last, say, like 5 seconds. You can, to stack resistances, there's 2 ways. 3 if you're a Chung. One is to get costumes and equipment and even accessories or titles that give you resistances to specific elements. Like, I have 285 water resistance, and that's mostly due to the ice burner set that the game gave me. The other option, you talk to an alchemist, pick attribute, and choose armor. Compared to a weapon, the armor doesn't cost as much in terms of L-shard types. And as you can see, you can only stack up to 2. So when you put a stack onto it, you gain like quite a good amount of resistance. I believe it's like 75 at level cap. I don't know if it's the same in all levels. And it can be any of the elements that you want. So if you plan to do like high level PvP, you're definitely going to want to do that, because it's going to be useful. It's 75 on the first one, but the second one is like 45, I think.